It's the neighborhood of Schöneberg in Berlin, and it's a neighborhood I'm getting to know more and more in the past 2 years. I can say it's very active, and I can also say that it's very specialized, and that it's relying on the fact that it is also promoting a sense of politics that are not so accessible to the mainstream. We could talk about the mainstream later on, but yes, basically this is a highly specialized political life, what is happening on the dance scene or performing scene. I don't consider I'm putting in the center of art making or even the reflection, the needs. For me, it's still very different, the aesthetic need that there is behind art making, and I'm doing it in performance mostly, or I'm trying to do it in performance mostly. I like to work with people. I like to exchange on that level and to experience together. And then all the types of exchanges that there is around is to be seen, in my opinion, as a group of people, a so-called community that would like to have a different position as a group in a city, in a society, and also to involve more of the others into its perception and understanding. I am not sure that the art scene should be so codependent on what is actually happening in politics, in the media, and in that sense, if I understand you correctly, I would agree with you with the codependence on art making and the political, in the sense that the arts can somehow measure differently priorities and set them differently. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not that helpful. It opens doors, it closes others. But my point is that what I found magic about working in performance, dance, whatsoever making, when it's relying on the experience of the body, of this emotional experience, that you're able to take a bit of a distance with what is the current social issue or the current political issue, and to set yourself other deadlines, basically, or goals, or priorities. Then there is a whole big problem, which is how to transmit these goals, how to talk about them when they are barely understood by the art scene itself, when they are controversial and starting like kind of turmoil between makers, critics, politicians, institutions. And in that choice making, I think we could improve a lot, because there are a lot of perspectives that we don't include in art making and that are very difficultly communicable. The next level of difficulty is, when you're doing art, how to work on that subject but still be able to give it a space. And for that you need to work on communication, marketing. It's very pleasant, but it requires a lot of financial means, actually. Not everybody is competent in that matter, and even if they are competent, it demands quite a lot of time. So it's multiplying like the amount of work, and this amount of work is difficultly manageable, first of all, but also most of the time it's a failure. Then it's the question of whether the art scene is able to include failure and to think a bit bigger. And I think Berlin in that sense is a very appreciable city, because there are many people thinking many different things. Then the way the objects are being received and the apparent failure is being judged is a dialogue we could enter within the art scene. And this process of validating and tossing away is very interesting in itself. And since we are we are. I don't know who are we, but since this scene is willing to work on such a level, I think we have a lot of learning to do. What is crucial for the dance making, performance making, but in general in the art scene, who can connect to the political, who works with people, who is involving a lot of people in its making, in its transmission, in its marketing, in its interaction, in its own experience. So then I think more of a theater perspective or performance perspective. We have to develop another kind of, or we should develop another kind of measurement. It's not so broad, like of course you can take some distance and say it's a battlefield, or say it's a tool, or say it's a medium, or say it is language even. But I think what is crucial with working with the body is to make an experience through it, or to make the experience of it. And that's where it starts being interesting, because it has nothing in common with politics. Then I will ask you one question. What is the specific relationship with emotions in politics? And then we could maybe get closer to the idea, to the question you asked about the body, the relationship between body and politics. Because actually that's more the perspective I like to work on this emotional aspect to things, of this instant combination of both history, experience, judgment, self-judgment, or judgment of yourself that is happening in the moment of the experience. And then I call that emotion because I think it's what mainstream can understand, and I still want to be able to talk to my nephews about it, something they have experienced themselves, something they would like to also share with others. Nephews, I'm saying nephews, it's just an example. And there is a need for the artistic community, or the art community. So yes, there is a necessity for the art community to make compromises with politics, but I don't think it's a good idea to place the politics in the center of the interests of the arts. I think it is necessary.
The politics or the political?
I mean, then the political, as you mentioned it, is a matter of language. Who do you want to reach with your art, and what do you want to write about it? Because when you present a dance show, it's up to the audience you have in front of you to find it political or not. Then you can suggest the idea and say, okay, my work is political, and if it actually is, this is also to be discussed. I am not sure it is contributing to society, and I am not sure it is important that it contributes to society. What I am sure about is that it exists, and I don't see why it shouldn't exist anymore. So then the contribution of it is a matter of cultural perspectives, of cultural needs and backgrounds, and beyond the cultural also of the solvability of the whole of it. Then we maybe need to discuss the word contribution before being able to say that performing arts are contributing in any possible ways in society. Or to take off my shoulders this idea of dance contributing in any possible way in society, to become a bit more naive about it, is I think the crucial experience I myself make with dance is sharing with people. And then I'm talking during family parties or clubs or wherever you want to dance, or even if you're able to start dancing here and not to feel awkward to anyone, because I think discomfort is something I'm not trying to necessarily reach as such. I like discomfort when people start questioning like why this feels different. Then I like this discomfort, but if it's just to assert the fact that I am different or dancers are different, then no, I'm not interested. I think I need time. I would like to have more time. Because you have to do quite a lot of things to be able to put up some dance productions or to be part of the dance economy, if we can call it that way. Because like everyone else, you pay your bills, and it's taking a lot of time away, and this time becomes a burden, like when you stop dancing. I mean, I made choices, and I have to live with the consequences of these choices. And it's completely fine. It's just maybe sometimes very frustrating, just immensely frustrating. But it's okay. You deal with it. You compensate, you find other ways, you talk about it, you find people who understand it and who give you a little bit of space at the table to behave the way you want to behave. Oh no, darling, you would see the percentage of what I spend in my individual career and the percentage of my time I spend in the political life, as you mentioned. The political life is having a much higher percentage than But inside, like, the inner feeling is that the individual career has more space, but time-wise, no. Most of my efforts are in the political. Of course, like everyone else, no? I guess. No? If there are people out there who don't spend most of their time in the political, whatever we call it, please call my number. Send me an email. Tell me how it feels. Climate change and biodiversity loss. These are the risks that were in my dreams during many months. And I had a hard time finding a balance again after considering it seriously. Then another risk is the discrepancy in language between people, that people don't talk the same language, that people have other concerns than... No, they don't have other concerns, this is not true. They have to set other priorities than thinking globally. And I don't think that the economy, having become quite global, at least from the Western perspective, would allow us to go back to something deglobalized. This is another concern. And otherwise the risks is to let my mouth run everywhere. This is also another risk. But it's not so risky in the end. One concern to be able to see the present and the history from different angles to eventually help reevaluate the political, or at least to do it in your kitchen, and then to find out what are the possible tools you can use according to your profession, and mine is making dance, to propose another evaluation, or to at least try to find something out. If I could be a dictator, I would say that the criteria should be inclusiveness and restructuralization of education. It's not a criteria, but it's just a measure. So I would take a lot of measures. But right now we are in a point of time where I'm not sure which criteria we can apply to people. So what I've learned in German politics is in German culture, and I don't want to narrow it down to that, but it's very important, pragmatism, like to look at what there is, to try to evaluate, measure, comprehend, and then see what are the bigger forces at stake and start interacting with them on that level. So I don't know, I have no horizon. Like, the horizon I set myself is not further than next summer, like this coming summer. And the basic thing I've done is like planting some seeds of flowers that would attract bees onto my balcony. So it's something that will not change much, but at least it gives a bit of space to observe the bees and to also feel kicked out of your own house because you are promoting biodiversity. So let's welcome the bees and the insects and see if it's still livable with them.